Hello everyone, hope you're well. Sean here. You joined me this morning at RSPB Frampton Marsh, which is reserved just outside Boston, Lincolnshire, in the UK. I've come down this morning to have a little, to be honest, have a little practice with filming the wildlife here. Recently had some time up on the Isle of Mull and I wasn't overly happy with the footage that I got. I think it was down to me setting the camera not correctly, and then playing around with frame rates and things like that. So I've come down today, I'm fairly local, come down today, I've got the R6 Mark II with the RF 200 to 800 zoom lens on it, and we've got it on a tripod here and a fluid head. So I'm just sat in one of the hides at the moment. I've just been practicing taking some video of the avocets and the other bird life around. Not having any problem with taking photos. Photos are lovely with it. Had a kestrel literally above the car park, and hopefully I got some, well, I did get some good shots of that. I'll pop up on the screen at some point. But it's just videoing with the camera that I need to practice with. So we'll carry on doing what we're doing. I will put up some footage that I've already taken, and we'll see how we get on. So when I was on Mull, I was trying to get some slow motion footage and I really didn't understand frame rates. As I'm talking to you now, I've got the Osmo Action set up to 25 frames per second and I'm filming in 4K. The reason I film in 4K is that when I output to 1080, the 4K gives me a little bit of real estate and I can zoom in, zoom out. So that works quite well, and I used DaVinci Resolve, swapped over from iMovie, now using DaVinci Resolve, the free version. On the camera, so the camera's set up for 25 frames per second, 50 frames a second, and then 100 frames a second. Now, what I found out and what I learned was that if you create a timeline on DaVinci Resolve for normal talking head stuff, you drop your first piece of footage in and it sets the timeline to 25 frames a second. And that's it, that's locked in then. So if I then film on the R6, if I then film in 50 frames a second, to make that work in DaVinci, you either have to drop frames, because if you've got 50 frames, it won't fit that onto a 25 frame timeline, or you work in slow motion, which is brilliant, works really well if you want slow motion. If you don't want slow motion, then you get a bit of a jerky, jittery bit in there. Now there are things you can do and it allows you to mess around with various smoothing things and dropping frames and things like that, but it's not ideal. Some of you are out there now saying, well, Sean, why don't you just film in 50 frames per second for everything and then you can speed up and slow down? Good point. File sizes. If you start filming in 50 frames per second and 4K, file sizes are huge. You're looking at 2 gigabytes for 3 minutes. which puts a massive amount of strain on the old MacBook when you come to processing. So there's kind of got to be a compromise somewhere. So I'm here today, and what I'm trying to do is I've got this on some custom settings. So when I flick to video, C1 is 25 frames a second, C2 is 50 frames, and C3 is 100 frames. So I'm looking at what I'm filming and then clicking between C1, C2 and C3. That's what we're trying today, and we will see how that goes. So if I know I want to do some slow motion, film in 50 or 100, and if it's just normal stuff out there that I don't have to worry about slow motion, then 25 frames a second. And you can slow it down a tiny bit, but it just starts to look a bit jittery. So that's what we're trying. And I guess if it's worked, I will put some stuff up at some point to see and show you. But I guess the pros, they must film at 50 or whatever, 60, depending whether you're parallel or NTSC or whatever. I suppose if you haven't got any issue with computer power or storage, just film at the fastest you want to do, and then you can slow things down or speed things up. The only issue with that, from what I'm rereading, is you've got this cinematic feel that people like, and I believe that's shot at somewhere around 23.9 or 24 frames a second. Who would have thought it was this complicated? I've only just learnt the photography bit. Trying to learn this as well is a bit of a challenge, but we're always up for a challenge. Right, I'll film a bit more, and I might try some slow motion stuff and see how we get on. I'll catch you in a bit. So come out the 360 hide now, and we're just going to head down and have a look at head to another hide. Currently testing out the how good the wind sock is on this microphone. It's a bit windy here today, so we're going to have a little wander down one of the other hides set up in there. Okay, right, different hide now, and I've got an absolutely perfect opportunity to try out 100 frames a second. Now this isn't in 4K, this is 1080, but what we've got is we have got over, push it out there, so over there is a San Martin bank. And I've currently got the camera trained on that. I'm going to zoom in to probably 800mm, so I can get as close as I possibly can with it. And the San Martins are coming in and out. They're flying across the water here, picking up off the water, picking up food, and then they are heading back into the San Martin bank over there. So I'm going to try and see if I can get anything. So we're going to be filming at 100 frames a second, and that's now filming that, at 100 frames a second. I don't think you can see, if I shade that a little bit, oh yeah, you can see that. So that's what's on the back of the camera. Filming at 100 frames a second, and hopefully it's focused. It looks to be focused. Now that will be, when we put it into post, if I'm right, that will be able to be slowed down 4 times. Now, as they're flying in and out there, which they are quite a lot, we should be able to slow that down to a point where we can see it quite nicely. We'll try it. That's the only thing we can do in it. Try, experiment. It takes a little bit of time. A little bit of time in post. And the worst thing that will happen is that it doesn't work. I've just come out of that hide, and I've had one of these, just had one of these kind of forehead slap moments, one of these dual moments that, without a shadow of a doubt, every other wildlife filmmaker in the whole world knows this, and it's only really just dawned on me. If I've got my camera and I'm shooting stills, I can walk along, I can have the camera set up, I can have it on a walk around setting, I don't know, say auto ISO, 1/1000th of a second, F9, something like that. And if I see something, I can just grab it, pick the camera up, point and shoot. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Wildlife filming ain't like that. It really isn't. You have got to think about it. You've got to plan it. You've got to set things up. You've got to wait. Yeah, being patient. Not one of my best traits. But you've got to plan it. And if you plan it and sit and think about it, it kind of works. I think some of the other stuff I've done, I've been trying to kind of approach it like I do some of my wildlife photography. If I see something, I think, yep, I'm going to grab that. Bang, bang, bang. Got it. Filming, you can't do that. Now, as I say, every other wildlife filmmaker in the world probably knows this already. It's just taken me a little while to suss it out. But going forward, plan it. Make sure you've got everything. Set the camera up. Film it. Decide whether it wants to be slow-mo. Decide whether it wants to be talking head. And go from there. Simple, really, isn't it? I don't know why I didn't think of it before. Anyway, let's move on. See what else we can see. Walking alongside these reeds here. The warblers that are in there. You can hear them chattering away. Not easy to see, not easy to photograph. But they're in there. Every now and again one pops up. I can't see him, but I know he's there. And the wind coming through these reeds here is kind of calming today. Right, come on, let's get onto this sea bank. Okay, that's the view over the salt marshes out to the wash. Fantastic. Properly windy up here today. Try and keep my back to the wind a little bit. There we go. Right, that's where we're heading. Walk along there and have a look, see what we can see. Great views over the reserve, off to my right, and then straight ahead and left over the salt marshes. Right, let's crack on. Okay, so the sea bank goes on a little bit further round. I'm not down there, not heading that way. I'm going to head down now, down to the road. Have a walk back to the visitor centre. If that lapwing down there stops long enough, I might grab a photo of that. Not a massive amount of photographic opportunities up on the sea bank. I think there was some red shanks that came up. I'll put a photo up, a couple of nice photos. I'll put a couple of photos up and then confirm it was a red shank. I'm not great with my birds, but hopefully we'll see. That lapwing sat there, keep popping up and hovering and coming back down again. So I'll just hang on here for a minute or so and see if I can grab that lapwing if it pops up with a still. Be worth hanging on for a minute, and then let's head back for a cup of coffee and maybe a sandwich. Ah, that was good. Managed to get a photo of the tern and the lapwing, which was really nice. So the tern was a little bit elusive for a little while, but managed to get that. So just walking that past the first lagoon, I don't know, first lagoon maybe. I'm just heading now up to the visitor centre, where I will grab myself a cup of coffee, I think. The only disadvantage with coming out filming as opposed to just stills is that I end up bringing the tripod with me, which, although not overly heavy, I then bring the rucksack with me because I've got other bits and pieces in there. And it just gets a little bit heavier than just having a camera and camera binoculars. Perhaps I just need to get out a bit more often, get a bit fitter. So we're done. A cup of coffee in the cafe. Back to the car, grabbed a sandwich, and I've got a lapwing dancing over my right shoulder. Good few hours down here. Hopefully My experiments with the video has worked out. Just as I came out of the cafe there were a couple of spoonbills feeding quite a long way out, but I set it up on the tripod, had the zoom 800, so it's a little bit wobbly, but hopefully got some footage just at 25 frames a second. So we'll see how we get on with that. If you've lasted this long, thank you very much for watching. If you've had a laugh at me with my inability to understand frame rates and how everything works, then I'm glad. If it's worked, hopefully I'll do another one of these again very soon. Take care now, look after yourselves, and be safe. Bye for now.